excited that we get to talk. I've been looking forward to getting to have this kind of a call with you ever since we very first started working together. I always envision that in my mind when I start to work with somebody, what it's going to be like when they're in their happily ever after part of things. And so I'm excited that we get to have this conversation now. And I just wanted to first ask you what is your memory of how you and I first found each other? Like, how did we start? How did we connect?
Well, I think it was 2018 or 2019. And I basically came across a video of yours on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about, healing the heart wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it was early in the morning, it was before going to work, and something clicked inside of me, and basically I decided to go ahead and purchase the heartache cure. I think
Yeah, the Overnight Heartache Cure. Yeah, the
yes.
audio.
And I started to listen to the audio basically from the following day.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that I felt a bit better after I listened to the audio, and then I decided to get to know more about what you're going to teach and about your training. And somehow I felt a sense of relief. At that time I was really, really, really heartbroken. And yes, and so from there I decided to go into the one-on-one sessions, and I decided to commit to heal my heart properly.
Oh, I love that. And I think you were also in the Date with Confidence challenge, right? The 14-day, the challenge. Yeah, I remember that you were in that too. That's so lovely. And I love that you started with Overnight Heartache Cure, because it's sometimes it's hard to just get a start. Like sometimes it's hard to just do one thing that makes you feel better. So I'm really glad that you started with that. And then why was it that you mentioned a little bit about it, because you said that you were really heartbroken at the time. Why did you decide, that you were going to move forward with healing for yourself? What was it that made you decide you needed to do that?
Well, at that time, because I was so heartbroken, I was more looking for a quick fix, like something that could make me feel better as soon as possible. But then starting from that course, from the first course, I understood that healing was a process, it was a journey, and I have to accept that healing doesn't come overnight. It's more likely a process of self-discovering. So and I decided to gift myself of this, about healing my heart, because it was clear to me at some point that I couldn't be able to meet another person with a healthy relationship if I wasn't in a place where I could be available for that type of person in the first place.
Yeah, like getting your energy really open and being able to receive that and be a match to that in your life. Yeah, that's such an important thing. When we were working together, what did you most enjoy about working together?
Well, I really enjoyed the energy work we did.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was really profound, really deep, and also because I'm an empath, and you also are an empath, so I in a way found somebody where I could relate to, and somebody I could ask for advice, and in a way I found in you in a guidance, somebody who can really guide me through that type of process I was going through.
It's hard when you're an empath. And I remember we did some of the work specifically just about being an empath, and even how that impacts other areas of life and other relationships, and like how we are with our colleagues and how we are like with everybody. Because I know that for me, discovering that was like, oh my gosh, that it was such a life-changing thing to like.
It was indeed life-changing for me, because I became aware that I was an empath. I am an empath at the same time when I was doing my healing, of my heart.
Yeah.
Because previously I was obviously an empath, but I wasn't aware. So sometimes I could see some dynamics repeating over and over again in my life, and I couldn't understand why. And I used to blame myself for that.
Yeah, because we think we're being overly sensitive, or that we just can't get over things as fast as everybody else can, or,
It's my fault that because I do not fit in, like society asked me to fit in,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the rules.
Oh, I love that. I love that that was part of your journey of healing your heart, because that's part of self-love. That's such a huge part of self-love, is like is this deeper knowledge of ourselves, and then being able to love ourselves in that deeper way, because now we know more about ourselves.
Yes.
And then we know more about how to take care of ourselves too as empaths, because it's so natural for us to connect. And so it leaves our hearts kind of vulnerable, and it can overload our nervous systems and all of these things, and wreak havoc in our relationships until we understand what that is. And then we're able to balance that a little bit better in our lives. I love that that was part of your healing journey. So what part of your healing journey do you think was the hardest for you?
Well, my healing journey was, I wouldn't say long, but obviously it took a while,
Mhm.
because on the other side I was deeply heartbroken. So obviously it took time, to recover fully from
Yeah.
that. And so I guess the most difficult part for me was to keep the faith in a way, and because also as a person, I'm quite impatient. I'm not the kind of person who will wait calmly and like everything and now.
Yeah.
uh, so I'm very impatient. So for me, it was difficult to be consistent with with the exercises, and not just with the exercises. Be consistent with the faith and continue to
Yeah.
believe this is going to happen for me, no matter what. Um, I had some doubts during the way, because obviously I'm a human being,
Right.
but in the
Everybody.
end, I never give up. I never give up, because in a way I sensed that what I was doing was right for me. So I had a few setbacks, but I never ever give up, and I continue with this journey until I found my soulmate.
Yeah. So tell us about that. What was that like to find your soulmate? How did you meet, and how did you know?
So it happened in one of the three way you said you were going to meet your soulmate. So basically, someone else introduced me him. Basically, and everything happened very naturally, because it was the beginning of June. I decided to go to the beach. I was invited by some friend, a
Mhm.
group of friends, to go to the beach, and he was there, but I didn't notice him on the first place. And a common friend introduced me to him, and that's the way we met. And it was like I really liked him at the very first sight. And what I love about him is he, from the beginning, from the get-go, he was quite transparent, like in the way he was, in his attitude. Like he never did a mystery that he was liking me. He invited me out, and that's what I really appreciated of him. Like he was very, like, I'm here.
Yeah.
uh, but not in a disrespectful way, in a very, I would say, innocent, like very pure, very mm, yeah, very loving. I really like that.
I love that so much. I love that so much, because when we have our hearts broken and we're in these other relationships, one of the things that is so difficult is we keep trying to understand why all of those things happened to us. Why did I go through that pain? Why did I have that experience? Were there red flags that I ignored? Or we think like, why did it repeat? Why did I have that pattern over and over again? All of these kinds of things. And I think sometimes the hardest, it's not only the heartache of going through those things in the past, but it's also not understanding. It's that feeling of like, why did this happen? I don't understand. It's not clear to me, you know? And so when we get to have our hearts healed and then move forward into love, and someone is just being so clear and completely forthright with us and just wide open to us, and they're like, here I am, this is
Yes,
me, I care about you,
yes,
you know, and it's such a beautiful thing, you know.
yes. And another thing I would like to add is, because I was quite impatient, I was always looking for ways to make it happen. Like,
Mm.
I felt in a way like it was my responsibility to meet someone. So there, there used to be a time when I used to go out there to meet people. But what amazed me is the fact that when I went to the beach on the day, I wasn't looking for meeting a soulmate, or like, I was going to the beach for the pure joy of, being with friends and enjoying the sunshine, really. So, and I completely released the need to control things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful too. Like as soon as we heal all of those things that are in our hearts and we're really clear about what we want, then it's kind of like we can release that, and we don't have to search. I always tell people, you don't make love happen, you make love welcome.
Yes,
And
yes.
as soon as you make it welcome, you
You
just
let it go and you just leave things happen naturally and effortlessly.
yeah, I
Mhm.
love that. So now, knowing what you know about that whole process and what that was like, would you do that? Would you do it again?
Wow, that's a good question. Of course, in life, we would like things to be a bit easier for us in a way. But I have to say that, well, my journey has been a bit long, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought I have been met my soulmate a little bit early in my life,
Mhm.
but at the same time, I grew up so much, spiritually and emotionally. So I'm a completely different person from who I was, like, even 3 years ago. More mature, more aware, more present, and even our relationship reflects that. And it's so many things that used to be a problem for me in other relationship. It's not a problem anymore. We really enjoy the company of each other, so it's a very different, more adult way of being in a love relationship. So I would say yes, because of the perks I got through this journey.
Yeah.
So it was a journey, but in the end I got my perks.
Yeah. And I get that. It seems like sometimes what happens is that we have to become the person who can have that relationship.
Yes. Yes.
So it's not just about let's manifest the relationship immediately right now. It's actually the healing process helps us become the person who can have that relationship and sustain it.
Exactly, because I believe if I wasn't, because of the healing I've done,
Mhm.
I wouldn't be probably able to sustain this type of relationship,
Yeah.
because you have to meet the relationship at that level.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you can meet the soulmate, but you can always, lose them because you are not able to maintain that type of high level energy in
Yeah.
a relationship.
And then we sabotage. A lot of times we sabotage it because, and not even consciously, we'll sabotage it by just doing the patterns that feel familiar to us because we don't realize how we're really actually acting from an unhealthy place, just unhealthy energy, unhealthy habits, all of our wounds from the past, all the things we learned that maybe weren't good from our parents, or from relationships with exes, and different things of how we try to keep our heart safe, and all that
most
stuff
of the
has to
time
get healed.
most of the time we are not even aware that we put in place such type of dynamics. We just act because we were thought that that was right, or
Yeah.
because of our self doubts, or because of our beliefs. but the thing is, we are not aware sometimes of certain dynamics that we put in place, and
Yeah.
we only observe what the other person does to us, but sometimes we are not aware that we are also put some inputs for the other person to behave in a certain way. It's like a kind of a circle, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And when we do the healing part, not only do we become more aware of how we're behaving, but we actually attract somebody who's at a higher level with us now too,
Yes.
you know, and that's beautiful because then we don't have as many, it just feels easy. The relationship after we've healed feels easy, it feels natural, it feels right.
Mhm.
Mm.
Even when we have a confrontation, we don't have many, but when we have a confrontation, we have a very healthy way of doing, you know,
Yeah.
to manifest our opinions. We are both very passionate because that's the way we are,
Mhm.
but I really noticed that it's a completely different ways of putting forward our own opinions, always in the respect of the other person.
Mhm.
and and another thing I really like, once we have a confrontation, no matter how passionate it is, um, like for us, it's like, okay, we can take it where we left. Nothing has changed. Even better, we have the chance to know each other more on a deeper level.
Mhm.
But this doesn't change the quality of the relationship, and I think that's very healthy.
Yeah, it's not like I love you less because we disagreed on something. It's not like I think less of you or you're wrong and I'm right, you know. Yeah, that's really, it's so healthy and so beautiful.
Or our relationship is not worth because we had an argument. It,
Yeah,
like that.
that means our relationship's bad
Exactly.
or
Exactly.
we like it's not strong or something. Yeah, it's such a healthy way because we're going to have differences of opinion because people are different, human beings are just different, and so it's really beautiful to I think it's such a like you said, a grown-up way of relating to each other. It's such a way of, you know, where you can tell a level of emotional maturity, because sometimes when people come into situations where they want love, they think, oh, so it's going to be perfect all the time,
Exactly.
you
And
know,
I
or they
think,
expect the person to read their mind or something like that.
yes, and I think the beauty, like the backbone of this, is the fact that the other person is able to accept you in
Mhm.
your light and in your darkness. And I
Mhm.
think that's what is real love about, like being able to love the person you have in front of you, not what you project in
Mhm.
front of the other person, so your projection or your illusion, but you're able to love the person the way she or he is, like
Yeah,
in
the
all
truth of them,
everything. Yes, exactly.
all of them.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
think that's true love.
yes. And the thing that's so beautiful about that to me is that you attracted what is true love to you, you know, and for someone else, there may be something that's feels more like love to them that's a little bit different, you know, their definition of true love might be a little bit different. So there might still be the acceptance is really important to them, but it might also be something else, like we build a lot, like we build an empire together, you know,
Okay.
like, you know what I mean? Like we're a power couple and it's like, this is true love to me. Like we're true mates and we're taking on the world, and, you know, and that's beautiful. Like they can have that kind of love too. Or, you know, it's like everyone can have the kind of love that they can have what is true love to them,
Yes.
you know. I love that so much. So if you had to talk to yourself, if you were going to talk to you at the beginning of your healing journey and you wanted to tell her something, what would you want to tell her?
Um, well, to be patient and and to trust your heart more, like, because trusting my heart is what brought me at the end of my journey,
Mhm.
and trusting too much my mind is what brought me to having doubts. So because our hearts never never lies and never lead us in wrong path. I think because we cannot know from the beginning how long our journey will be. Could be short, could be long, who knows. But what you can know is listening to your heart, and every time you have doubts, like, rely to your heart, and because your hearts can guide you properly.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's such beautiful advice.
Mm. Mm.
Thank you so much, love. It's we were talking a little bit before we started, and I was saying I'm so grateful to you for wanting to record this, to be able to share with other women what your journey and experience has been, because every time I'm working with a client one-on-one, I envision, as part of the manifesting process, I will envision having this conversation with her, you
Yes.
know, and I love that. And we were talking a little bit about that, and I was asking you how you felt about being able to do that video now.
Well, I imagined this conversation so many times, and obviously in our imagination things are different, because that depends from our life state, how we are on that specific moment. um, but in the end, the substance is I'm able to have this type of conversation with you, and that's the most important thing for me. As I said, I'm a complete very different person from what I was like a couple of years ago, and I prefer this version of me. Yeah, and I'm really happy about what we have shared together and the journey we did, because in the end everything paid off, the way it has.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear that, love. I'm so glad. Thank you so much for sharing all of these beautiful insights and experiences from your heart. And I'm sure that there are women who are going to watch this and be inspired and excited, and they're going to know that their time is coming too. So that's a really beautiful gift for you to give to them. That's really lovely. Thank you,
Thank
love.
you. And yeah, the good thing is that, like, he's basically very close to my love list, and
Yeah.
if I could give an advice, is really go wild with your with your love list. In this meaning, go wild means do not refrain from writing something on your love list just because you think, oh, that's impossible for me, or sometimes we want to, lower our expectation because we think that's too much for us. That we
Yeah.
cannot.
Yeah.
Sometimes we think, oh, I cannot have it all. I can have a part, and I can call myself happy just because I have like 60% or 70%. And just, no, that's not true. We can be fully happy, and there's no limit in terms of what we can desire for us, as
Mhm.
long as what we desire is true for ourselves.
Absolutely. That is so true. Oh, I'm so happy for you, love. I'm just so, so excited and happy for you. And to go through this journey with you, it's such an honor. And I so appreciate your trust, and just getting to do this with you and see how happy you are now just makes me overjoyed. I'm so happy for you. Thank
Thank
you so much for sharing about this. And I just think back to all of the times that we talked one-on-one, and where you were at different parts of your journey, and getting to see you how you are now is just such, it just fills my heart with so much joy, so much happiness, because you deserve that. You deserve
you.
every moment of joy that is coming for you. And this is just the beginning of that for you. Even though you've known each other for a little while, there is so much more good that's coming for you. And I hope that you will keep letting me know as each thing happens for you. Okay, love?
And I would say to the other women, you are lucky you found Carisa, so you're very good hands.
Thank you, love. Thank you so much. And I'm
Thank
so,
you.
so happy for you.